Hello everyone and welcome to this year's newsreel, introduced to you by Mike Breeze and Judy Findle.
We have another show packed with interesting items and events.
Yes, the Clarets not only gained promotion to the Premier League this year, but also celebrated 100 years since winning the FA Cup.
The celebrations were in the form of a museum at Towneley Hall, featuring the 1914 great event in the Clarets' history. Our cameras were there to capture everything.
A school teacher from St Christopher's School, Accrington, who lives in Harlesike, Burnley, raises money for an Indian orphanage.
And whoever heard of a chandelier being made out of jewellery?
But we start this year with an annual event that is close to most people's hearts.
And as it was too late to put in last year's newsreel, we take you back to December last year and to Pendleside.
Yes, we start this year with an event from last December. December the 15th to be precise. Pendleside's Light Up Alive was another lovely occasion.
Mr Mayors, Madam Mayoresses, ladies and gentlemen.
3:30 and Davey Brown, the Hospice chairman, welcomes everyone.
Switch on service. For the second year in a row, we've been blessed with decent weather.
Times we loved.
A reading was then read by Diane Hutchinson.
The times we fought, the times we laughed. For if you always think of me, I will never be gone.
Change the country's thinking and change the country's lifestyle. Without recrimination, but with hope and love. Change happened.
The dust of life. Next it was the turn of the Basics Theatre School.
And born in strife, they are the living reminder of all the good we failed to do. We can't forget, must not forget, that they are all our children too.
Then the turn of a young lady who regularly raises a lot of money for Pendleside, Grace O'Malley.
But really, at this time of the year, a lot of people find a lot of peace out of it, because the fact is it's a difficult time, whether they're patients or whether their families are patients or whether they have loved ones that they're remembering. The new extension has been really something that we've waited for quite a long time. We got a grant to build it, we wouldn't have been able to build it otherwise, and it should be operational by the end of January.
I really enjoyed it. It always makes my Christmas coming to Pendleside and doing this.
It's been absolutely wonderful. You know, to say, all right, it's seasonal, it's cold, and the number of people that's turned up to support it's been fantastic.
Really special. It's been a great turnout. A lot of people are here, but it was really special.
After a lot of hard work and perseverance by some dedicated people, the residents of Hapton can be proud of the fact that Hapton now has a coat of arms. On the 28th of March this year, MP Gordon Birtwistle presented this beautiful scroll and letters patent to Hapton Parish Council and Heritage Committee in the community building.
A very warm welcome to the community building in Hapton. As you're well aware, this morning it is the presentation of our letters patent from the Royal College of Arms in London, and this is for our coat of arms that we applied for. All this has been possible through some Heritage Lottery funding that we got, and we'd like to give a very warm welcome to our MP, Mr Gordon Birtwistle, for coming here to present this.
Thank you for inviting me. It's a fantastic occasion. I mean, I occasionally walk into the House of Lords to see what it's really like in there and what it was like in the old days, and there's coats of arms all the way around, and I look at them and you think of people who are connected to those coats of arms, and they go back to the 13, 1400s, and you think you know, these coats of arms are fantastic. And who would ever believe that we get a coat of arms for Hapton? And you've done a brilliant job, and the people who's worked on it do a brilliant job. But one thing I didn't know that's on this note, that we were the first village to get electric lights. Amazing, absolutely amazing. We'll hand the box over. We'll hand the box over. Well done. Thank you. So where are we going to display this?
I'd like to thank Mr. Whistle for presenting us with the coat of arms and the letters patent. It's been a very long journey doing it.
Henry went on to talk about the amount of hard work that was entailed in the acquisition of this coat of arms.
This is Stephen, who has done most of the work, and he's worked really, really hard. And I would like you all to show your appreciation for the work he's done. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
The idea to get the coat of arms did actually come from Stephen Butterfield. It was at a meeting one evening, and we'd noticed, they'd been travelling around, and they noticed that many villages and parishes around us had coat of arms.
Obviously, the accumulation of a lot of work by the Heritage Group to achieve what they've achieved, which is an amazing piece of work. Cost a lot of money, but they've got there. Complete commitment to it. I know it's been going on a couple of years, and it's great to be here to see it finally arrive after sorting it all out.
The earliest one we've found is from 1328, when the Talbot family gave the manor of Hapton to the de family, who are the forebears of the Towneleys. And that charter is also in the record office at Preston.
So, another historical milestone for our area. 100 years ago, 1914 is remembered for many sad reasons. But it is a year the Burnley Football Club can recall with great pride, because 1914 was the year in which Burnley won the FA Cup. The Clarets beat Liverpool 1-0 at Crystal Palace Gardens to lift the famous trophy on April 25th. And at Towneley Hall on April the 6th this year, an exhibition celebrating that memorable day was officially opened. The exhibition was displayed in the Long Gallery at Towneley Hall. Former Burnley Football Club chairman Barry Kilby opened the proceedings.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this opening of this unique exhibition. One person once said to me once, Burnley's too small to be a big club. But then he said, but the history's too big for it to be anything else. And I really believe that. And today we're celebrating one of those big days in the club's history in the form of the exhibition to mark the 100th anniversary of that famous cup final victory over Liverpool in 1914.
Barry went on to thank many people before introducing the Clarets historian Ray Simpson to mark the exhibition open.
And it was also the very first time that the reigning monarch had attended professional football's most prestigious occasion.
Ray told of how proud everyone is at Burnley Football Club of this great achievement 100 years ago this month. Ray Simpson also had a lot of well-deserved thank yous to announce, which included curator Mike Townend and the staff at Towneley Hall. Also people who very kindly submitted many artefacts that made up this wonderful exhibition. After the cutting of the ribbon, everyone made their way up to the Long Gallery. We did manage to get a word with one or two of the invited guests.
I was about 4 or 5, I think, when he died. So, no, not really. Just vague, yes. Yeah, I remember us living with him, my grandma and granddad, because they live with us. And we lived in Blackburn. So.
What? With the centenary upstairs and everything, and getting back in the Premier League will be a fabulous finish to a great year it's going to be for the club.
You obviously weren't playing in 1914.
I just missed out.
The items have come from all over the country, South Wales, London, the South Coast. And a lot of the people that have contributed the items are here today.
A birthday party held at the Hare and Hounds, Briercliffe, earlier this year was an ideal event for Lauren Davey, a teacher at St Christopher's High School, Accrington, to raise money for a charity close to her heart. Tonight, Lauren, as well as enjoying her party, she will be raising money for the charity Shining Faces. We visited Lauren's birthday bash to find out more. The 12th of April was a lovely spring evening. The restaurant was full of Lauren's friends and relations, ready to spend. The room and hot supper at the Hare and Hounds had very kindly been donated by landlord Christopher Tootle and partner Maxine Holmes, and the raffle had some terrific prizes. The orphanage was formed in 1986, when the Reverend Dr. Jayaraj Krishnan and his wife Christy took in 12 orphans to add to their family of 3 children. Christy and Jayaraj had both been brought up in Indian orphanages. The Oscar-winning film Slumdog Millionaire captures the extreme poverty and hardship suffered by countless children in India's cities. During the summer, Lauren, along with friend and work colleague Claire Kearns, will be taking some of their pupils from St Christopher's out to India to the orphanage, along with whatever money they have managed to raise. This will be a wonderful experience for the pupils.
Well, my school supported the orphanage for over 20 years, so our old headmaster was friends with the sponsor, the English sponsor of the orphanage.
I had a conversation with the headmaster who asked me whether I'd be interested in going to India, and I said obviously yeah I would.
It was an amazing reaction. They were all shouting "Ante, ante, ante," and they all wanted to like hug us and shake hands and things like that. So because obviously, you know, the staff there are fantastic, but there's only so many and there's a lot of children, so they really like your attention. So we spent a lot of time playing with the children over there.
Like I say, I'm fortunate that I have already travelled to some quite deprived areas already prior to that. But I think it's really positive not to focus on the negatives. They are happy and they've got everything that they could need. They've got the shelter, they've got food, they're looked after, and they're such happy little children that it's very humbling. In quite the materialistic world that we live in, it's quite humbling to see that actually, you know, people can be very happy with very little.
I just want to, you know, try and raise as much money as possible. It's been tickets, which includes like the disco and the supper and things like that. Also, we've got a raffle, and a lot of local businesses in Burnley have been really supportive of the raffle. I can't believe how much stuff we have donated, so that should bring quite a bit of charity money.
The night was a great success, and on the night, Lauren raised over £1,000.
We cross now to, well, just down the road actually, where earlier our reporter Keith Widdop was outside the Four Alls pub.
If you find yourself walking through the village of Higham and suddenly start to feel unwell, you can stop off here at the village pub for a reviver. Not the normal pick-me-up, but something much more substantial that could be a lifesaver. The people of Higham have installed a defib unit, and it's here, outside the Four Alls. What a great idea.
Like many villages in the area, Higham is a very community-conscious place where most of the residents know each other and work together for the good of the village. We inquired how it all came about.
It was a member of the village, it was Anne Stevenson who had the idea. Myself and some other people, we've been involved in raising some money, not a lot of money through some village functions, and we decided that we would put that money towards this. We also got some very kind donations from some of the other villages as well, and as a result of that we were able to purchase the defibrillator, and as part of sourcing that through this first responders organisation, they offered to deliver some CPR training, so we took them up on that. Let's hope that we don't get too many customers. There has been talk about having a sweepstake to see who's first on the floor. Apparently my name is sought after in that sweepstake.
So, Higham residents pretty well filled their local to attend CPR training given voluntarily by SMART, the Ribble Valley Community First Responders. This involves showing videos and practical demonstrations.
You will need to call 999 or 112 for an ambulance and start CPR.
Okay, everybody stand up again, please. Control always at the end of the phone as well. So if you're not too sure, you can ask control and they'll tell you, they'll talk you through it, they'll be listening all the time.
When you're a couple of metres away, you want to try and elicit a R, which is a response. Good. Yeah, some people are listening.
So inside the little pack next to it is some tough cuts. Cut from the head downwards, not from the bottom upwards. Simple reason.
Fall away, the hands fall away. And then use this as a lever. It's a long lever and it makes pulling them over very, very easy. There's no effort involved at all. I've kept my hand here until the head's gone over.
So, if you ever find yourself driving through Higham and suddenly feel a bit iffy, then call at the Four Alls pub. Seriously, it is a wonderful idea, and well done to the village of Higham.
I make right angles with their legs. And in this point, they're not going to roll either way. The airway stays open, and if you haven't had any...
It was early in April, at the opening of our football club's exhibition, that the club officials were optimistic with regard to Burnley's promotion to the Premier League.
Well, yes, can we get there again? It's, you know, we're not counting any chickens, and to quote my manager, we're keeping every game at a time, but we really are looking strong favourites now, so let's just keep our heads and do it.
It's looking very promising. We don't want to count any chickens too early, but it's looking very, very promising now.
Well, on Easter Monday, dreams were fulfilled as Burnley beat Wigan 2-0 at home. The final home match against Ipswich was just a great day out for the fans and players alike. The match was drawn. The important part of the day was the parade and the presentations in the centre circle at the end of the match. Once again, our town is a Premiership football town. In the town centre there was plenty of merchandise on sale, and the shops were also supporting the Premier League Clarets. Outside the town hall, hundreds of fans gathered to see their heroes appear on the balcony.
Well, a lot of hard work, a fantastic group of players and staff who have basically given everything they've got. Every week, every time the whistle blows, they've been ready to play it, backed by the town and the people. So it's been perfect. Fans then lined the streets all the way to Turf Moor to watch as the team and officials took the route in an open-top bus.
It's time now to take you to our reporter Carl Stredder outside the Town Hall.
June the 12th this year, and our Town Hall was host to many mayors and dignitaries from around the region. This was our mayor and mayoress's first official event of the mayoral year. There was also the usual tombola for all to speculate on. Our Mayor, Councillor Andy Tatchell, and Mayoress Mrs Lorna Tatchell entertained their guests with a tour of the Town Hall, including council chambers. Of course, the Burnley Express were there. A lovely afternoon tea awaited the guests. It was then time to tuck in. The usual raffle was to be drawn after food. After viewing the bottle of Johnny Walker as one of the prizes, I decided to purchase a ticket. Nothing ventured. I managed to have a word with our Mayor, Councillor Andy Tatchell.
My term in office, well, I obviously want to see Burnley go forward, and we've got lots of projects across the town which are doing that. Set up by the council. I want Burnley to have a good season in the Football League as well, because we're up in the Premiership now, and I would like to raise a lot of money for three very good and worthy charities.
Yes, what are your charities, sir?
They're the Christie Hospital at Manchester, the Youngsters Oncology Unit, which is being built as we speak, the Hamaeus Home for Homeless charity, which is also close to my heart, and I think that deserves some help if we can do that, and Pendleside Hospice, who have helped our family in the past, and they're wonderful people over there.
Then it was time for the raffle, and guess whose ticket was first to be drawn?
Your Worship, ladies and gentlemen, thank you. His Worship the Mayor will now draw the raffle.
The day was a great success, raising more than £300 for the Mayor's charities. A pretty good day for me as well. So Burnley filmmakers reporter Carl Stredder walked off with the Johnny Walker. So what is it? Green?
738 green.
Oh,
Yep.
So have I won?
You won, yeah.
My word. Do you want to pick anything? Thank you very much. You're very kind.
Thank you.
21.
On the 4th of April at Bankhall Park, at the When You See Water Carnival, I spoke to Jack Speed about how the Burnley's River project started.
Graffiti. And it was then and there that I decided I really needed to get a project in Burnley to try and not only improve the river but interest the people of Burnley in looking after and improving their river and absorbing and kind of taking on ownership and taking pride in where their rivers came from and how it's influenced the town and how they can make it better.
First, the Rivers in the Classroom project. This idea of introducing fish eggs, which then hatch into trout in a special temperature controlled fish tank, really caught the imagination of the children, and it's been carried out in several schools in the Burnley area. It's proved so successful, it's running again from December until the end of March 2015.
Let's all run to the river run where we can have lots of fun. To the river, to the river, to the river run. To the river, to the river, to the river run.
The final part of the project. The fish are released in suitable areas in our local rivers.
So this is your last chance to see them before I actually put them in. So if you want to have a look, the last time I'll bring them round.
I don't like you, Sharker.
There you go.
That orange.
There you go. There's always one or two that go.
So what's happening to the rivers running through Burnley this year? This is one of several improvements to the riverbed, both visually and structurally.
This is the Calder Reach 9. Basically we had a very fast flowing 2 metres wide channel, and what we are doing is making this channel now 6 metres wide, and instead of one fall we're making a pool and riffle system, which is better for the fish to migrate and also good habitat for the fish.
More events have been held in the town centre, engaging with the people of Burnley, making them more aware that the rivers running through the town are healthy, full of fish and wildlife.
And you've got a little bullhead as well there. So can you see that little fly?
Comments from the passing shoppers were encouraging.
Oh wow, that's really interesting. We didn't know that. We've learnt that by coming today. Thank you.
So I'm really happy with what they're doing, and we've got to start teaching our kids to keep the environment clean.
And they've got a fish race going on this afternoon. So follow the fish down to the river, and there's free drinks for you as well.
Finally, the last obstruction on the River Brun has finally been constructed at the Burnley Weir, one of the oldest parts of Burnley. And on Monday the 8th of September, the new fish pass was opened by the Mayor of Burnley, Councillor Andy Thatchell.
It's a great pleasure to open this fish pass, and I'm sure it's going to be a great success.
A final word from Jack Spees, Director of the Ribble Rivers Trust.
Well, it's taken us about 4.5 years to get this project from concept to delivery, and it's absolutely phenomenal to see the last weir on the Brun that can be tackled and improved for fish passage achieved, and it's wonderful to have all of our partners from the Environment Agency through to the college here supporting us today.
Over 1,000 of our fairer sex took part in this year's Race for Life event.
In Tesco, wow. We've got Tom.
This wonderful charity occasion raises money for Cancer Research UK. The venue, as usual, was Towneley Park, but unfortunately the 15th of June started somewhat inclemently, but it certainly didn't deter the ladies from the task ahead. Everyone was in the pink, even the loos. The hosts for the day were not our usual local radio station 2BR, but Heart FM. Claire Dickinson from Cancer Research UK gave a talk on how important the money that this event raises is to the research of this dreadful disease.
A unique partnership between the Christie, Cancer Research UK and the university. It's really exciting to work for Cancer Research UK because really research is the key to saving lives.
Now Burnley, are you ready to make some noise and show cancer who is boss?
After the warm-up, the girls were ready to start.
Whatever you see yourself in the paper. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good luck, ladies!
Fortunately for everyone, the weather had improved and this wonderful charity was enjoyed by racers and watchers alike. Most of the ladies took a leisurely approach and completed the course without using too much energy. But but there were certainly the more competitive types who kept running throughout.
Come on, everybody comes to the finishing line. We've got our first running.
Surprise, surprise, the first across the line was 9-year-old Ella Dorrington.
Have you? Oh, just like that. Put your hands together like that. Just there. Just down a bit. Perfect.
In fact, second and third were also very young ladies. Second was Sophie Ashworth and third Charlotte Corrigan. Another successful Race for Life event. Once again, the weather was glorious for Burnley's second Asda Foundation Pennine Lancashire 10k run. As early as 7:30 in the morning on June the 22nd, things were starting to take shape. Building on the success of last year's 10k run, this year's event was another magic day for Burnley. Some runners took a rather leisurely approach, whilst others had a more serious view on the task ahead. Whatever the attitude, everyone was looking forward to the start. I asked Kay Birtle, a fundraiser for Pendleside Hospice, about the response they had had to the event.
It's been absolutely fabulous. As always, the community of Burnley and Pendle have got behind Pendleside, and we've got over 300 runners today, which is absolutely fantastic.
Also taking part was one of our well-respected local GPs.
Well, I'm running to raise money for the Pendleside Hospice. As you know, it's one of the it's a very worthy cause locally. As a local GP, I often see how the tremendous input that the hospice have, and it's amazing to think that they run a charity. What really motivated me more than anything else, more than the fact that I'm a GP and looking after patients, is my 15-year-old niece who's at Marsden Heights. She has a genetic disorder which severely limits her vision. She wanted to do the race, and I found it quite motivating to take up the challenge myself.
Absolutely wonderful. It's great to see so many people turn out. They're just right for it as well.
Do you think you'd do a bit of running yourself?
I used to do such a thing, but we can't get the car down the track now, so I don't think it'll be happening.
I'm just glad I'm not running. I'm totally unfit for this, but you know,
it's a marvellous day.
It's marvellous.
I think for me it's just about completing it. I'm not really bothered about the pace that I go. I just want to complete it.
And what about Uncle? Do you think he's going to keep up with you?
Yeah, I think it's going to be about me trying to keep up with him. He's a really good runner.
There's the hero of the day, former soldier Paul Tunstall, carrying a 30-kilogram fridge on his back.
Absolutely magnificent time.
I think it was just under 34.
This man can be very proud of his efforts.
Yeah, it was alright, yeah, not bad. No, I just went. Come on, Gary! You know how it is, just do it, don't you?
Come on, lads, there's a bloke just carried this for 10 kilometres. Yes, it was a great day and helped a lot of very worthy causes. So congratulations to everyone and get yourselves ready for next year's 10k.
Whilst most of Burnley people were still thinking of getting up, the organisers of Armed Services Day were already busy in the centre of town. Sunday, June the 29th was the day many ex-servicemen and servicewomen aimed to bring the importance of the services to St James Street. Stands and tents were erected together with services memorabilia.
But I think our biggest draw on our stall here is the fact that we have a surgeon's kit which would have been used during the First World War without the use of anaesthetics. Well, I think the best one to look at is this one underneath. Look at the size of that. That would have been used, pardon me, to sew off a limb that had been shattered by a bullet or a shell. Obviously forceps, the whole caboodle there. that a surgeon would need.
Keith Shepherd explains some of the reasons for all the hard work.
3 or 4 months ago, the word came out from the town hall that there was a lot of work going on the Towneley Park in reference to the First World War, but there was nothing in the town centre. So myself, Ray Hogan and my wife are the 3 main parties, with Ben Robinson, who's our treasurer. We put together this event for today. Well, first of all, we'll start at 11:15. We have a short parade coming about 200 yards down the road to the square at the bandstand, and it's the 4 cadet forces: the Army, the Air Force, the Navy, the Army and Police Cadet Force, which is a new thing in Burnley this year. They'll come up with the standards. There'll be a short service. The Mayor and Mayoress and some other people are coming.
A special service at the bandstand was conducted by the Reverend Dr. Alex Baker.
Many, perhaps all of us, will have our own reasons for being here today. Perhaps some will be honouring friends or family members, or members of our community here in Burnley, like Alfred Victor Smith from the congregation of St Matthew's, who was awarded the Victoria Cross for giving his life to save those who fought by his side.
A very popular event that attracted a large crowd was the cadet drill competition, with teams from the Army and Air Force cadets taking part. These young people showed the results of weeks of preparation and demonstrated a very high standard of marching and drill. And members of the Army cadets spoke about their enthusiasm for their organisation.
What we're doing here today is to raise awareness in the community that we are here. We've got a detachment in Burnley, encouraging the young people to join up, gain some skills for the rest of their life.
Every year during the 6-week holidays we have an annual camp, which is 10 days, and that incorporates all the things we do in cadets, like shooting, navigation, so we go on a walk. We do adventure training, which is like climbing and things like that.
Events were brought to a conclusion by Katie and Georgia, who performed a string of well-known songs.
On the same day, over in Towneley Park, more nostalgia was on display in the form of the annual Classic Car Show. This year the show is in its 31st year and is still as popular as ever. Hosted by the Rotary Club of Burnley in conjunction with Burnley Borough Council, this year's family-friendly event had, as usual, lots to see and do for everyone.
Side weight is 910 kilograms.
With a funfair for the kids, plenty of stalls and lots of grub on hand and a bar. And entertainment in the centre arena, what could be better? Not forgetting the main attraction, of course, those wonderful old vehicles lovingly preserved by their owners. After asking one of the exhibitors, Yorkshireman John Peel, how he managed to get into Lancashire, I asked him how he acquired his pride and joy.
It come out of Derbyshire, and fella that started doing it up dropped dead, so I bought it off his widow.
Yes, well, moving swiftly on.
To the old style, so they did. 1967 Lotus Elan S3. Give him a round of applause as he leaves the arena. Thank you very much indeed, sir. Nice car.
And this was another great day for the folk of Burnley.
On August 4th, 1914, an announcement was made that was to affect families throughout the land. The declaration of war. During the 4 years of the conflict, 4,000 men and boys from Burnley died fighting for their country. These fallen are remembered by the 4,000 crosses placed in Towneley Park by the school children of Burnley. On August 4th, 2014, members of the public, retired members of the armed forces and civic dignitaries gathered in Towneley Park for a torchlit procession to the memorial garden in the grounds of Towneley Hall. Mayor Councillor Andrew Tatchell welcomed people to the service of remembrance.
Thank you for coming here this evening to be part of this event. We are all here to thank those who gave their hope, their youth and their lives to enable us to have lived in peace and freedom.
We have gathered this evening to remember all those from our local communities, this borough of Burnley, our own nation, and communities and countries across the world that were caught up in the courageous but tragic events of the Great War.
Here are just a few of the names of the people Burnley lost. We were but little children weak. Arthur Altham, aged 17. Ernest Baldwin, military medal, aged 21. John Clark, aged 20. Arthur Debble, aged 23. Herbert Evans, aged 25. Robert Henry Fenn, aged 34. Arthur George Gavey, aged 25. William Parkinson Holt, aged 23.
If I should die, think only this of me, that there's some corner of a foreign field that is forever England.
With the bank holiday drawing to a close and the recent gloomy week, it's all sunshine and fun today in the park. The place is packed with little heroes. Here to tell us about it is another hero from our very own Hospice.
Okay, so my name's Leah, I'm in the fundraising team at Pendleside Hospice, and we're here today at Little Hospice Heroes in Towneley Park. So the idea was actually thought up by a supporter of ours called Kelly Newman, who actually led a similar event for us last year and raised money for the hospice. So we've had about 350 children register for the event, and we think that many and more have turned up today to walk, and it's a 3-mile route around Towneley Park with sculptures on the way around and a halfway point where we've got people giving out juice and biscuits, and it's all decorated. So yeah, it's been a success so far.
I'm here for a walk today for raising money for Macmillan.
And what's your name?
And my name is Emma.
And are you going to take part in it? How long do you think it'll take you?
2 hours.
That's a really nice thing to do. Have you ever done it before?
Yeah. When they have stalls in town, I put a pound in.
Too much energy.
on going, it's a goodie bag for you.
Smile. Cheese.
Picture. Say cheese. Cheese.
Well done. Well done.
His Worship the Mayor, Councillor Andy Satchell and Marsden Building Society Chief Executive Bob Seavey were happy to perform the cheque handover.
It's come to light that a lot of the young children in Burnley have taken some time, given up their free time to support Pendleside Hospice, and I wondered how you felt about that and whether you would like to comment on what they've done.
I think it's really tremendous. I mean, the children of today are the adult citizens of tomorrow. To involve them in something like the sponsored event that went on will educate them about the hospice. Also, as far as the social responsibility is concerned, dealing with the whole subject it can only be beneficial. And the Pendleside Hospice was going from strength to strength, and for the youngsters to be part of that is vital. And I think the way that's been done is an ideal way of going about it.
Very good.
In August last year, work started on a facelift for our town centre. The balcony on one side was to be completely demolished and a whole new look to the front of River Island and 2 other units. Reporter Dave Berry spoke to the town centre manager.
Chris, can you tell me what's been happening with this revamp?
Well, basically, Charles Wilkes Shopping Centre was built during the 1970s and it was last refurbished in the mid-1990s. So long overdue, some major works, really to reconfigure the centre to suit the needs of modern retailing. In the 1970s, retailers would have wanted smaller spaces with small shop frontages, where now they want much bigger space, much more space to display their goods, and they're looking for big box units, often double height, and this is the trend in major cities and larger towns. So, during 2013, we had new owners who wanted to invest within the centre to achieve this requirement, and what we found is Market Square was their target area, and we've created, from small 7 units, we've created 3 much larger units to accommodate the fashion industry particularly, and River Island and Peacocks have now taken space. River Island have more than doubled the space that they previously held, and Peacocks have reintroduced their brand into town, obviously looking to invest their future within Burnley, and also I think it's a commitment to the strength of Burnley's retailability.
Well, it certainly looks up to date. Let's hope our town can attract some more iconic retailers and prosper from these new alterations.
During the first half of this year, the wind turbines, which have stood for 15 years up at Goldcliff, have come to the end of their useful life and are going to be replaced. In May this year, a new road in Overtown was being constructed to bypass the village of Briercliffe to enable the new, more efficient wind turbines to be erected on the original site at Goldcliff on the Long Causeway. Up at the end of the new road, I spoke to Scottish Power Renewables about the new project. What's the purpose of this road?
The purpose of this road is to allow Scottish Power to bring wind turbines up to the wind farm at Goldcliff. Briercliffe has a series of tight bends which we can't get up with abnormal loads related to the wind turbines, so we have to build this bypass to allow us to get up suitable gradients.
When do you think the road will be finished?
The road will be substantially completed by the end of May, with finishing works to go on after that for a few weeks.
And when are they moving the turbines in?
They'll be moving the turbines in at the end of July, beginning of September.
And when will the site up the road there be completed, the new turbines?
The new turbines will be commissioned by December, January 2015.
On Monday the 4th of August, the second of 6 convoys was coming off the motorway at junction 12 Brierfield and making its way on a pre-planned route with all the traffic hazards already ironed out, to the new road and then up the Coalclough Wind Farm on the long causeway. How far have you come this morning? Where have you started off from?
Stafford up to Liverpool, then Liverpool up to here. But it's took us from 9:30 till dinner time to get this far.
Towards the end of August, the old turbines have been dismantled and several of the much taller turbines erected. The large feeder station to feed the national grid was also being finished off. By early September, the wind farm was nearly completed, so I spoke again to Scottish Power Renewables.
Scottish Power had erected already 8 turbines. One of them has already exported to the grid last Friday. We are planning that the full site will be commissioning and exporting by the end of November.
Early Saturday morning, and everyone was busy assembling their prize scarecrows, ready for the judging.
Oh, not you again. Look at the state of me as well.
It's the best time to catch it.
Oh, one of these days I'm going to have all my makeup on. Sorry.
In the village hall, mountains of food was being prepared, ready for the expected flood of visitors.
Usual place.
You all prepared for the mad rush? The judging this year was in the hands of County Councillor Christian Wakeford, aided by partner Alex.
So thank you for inviting me and asking me to judge today. Actually really looking forward to it, with having been many times before. So I'll be very brief and thankfully declare the festival open. Now let's see some scarecrows.
After a short breather, it was time to announce the winners.
Okay, well, in reverse order, for me, my third favourite one was number 11, which was Groot and Rocket Raccoon from the Guardians of the Galaxy. Second, next door, Miss Piggy and Kermit with a Muppet Wedding. And the winner is the Wombles. Thank God I knew that one actually. So well done to the Wombles, and I'll be going around for another photo later. For me, the most difficult part wasn't the walking around for 3 hours, it was actually deciding which one was going to win. But in the end, it was a very, very easy choice for the winner of the one that stuck in everyone's mind, and we chose the Wombles. What I would like to say though is thank you for inviting me to judge this year, and also a big thank you to Terry Butterfield, who without him and his hard work all year round, this Scarecrow Festival wouldn't actually happen. So thank you to Terry.
It seems that on display in the art gallery at Towneley Hall there are some lost earrings. Ah yes, there they are. Lauren Sugar and Sharon Campbell's The Chandelier of Lost Earrings has been named as the winner in the Best Arts Project category of the 2014 National Lottery Awards, following a public vote. Made from more than 3,000 single earrings donated by people who have lost the other half of a pair, the sculpture is 2.5 metres tall. The ladies have worked together as Sugar and Campbell since 2005, based in Manchester at Rogue Studios. They work in both the fields of contemporary and visual art, making sculpture installations and interventions in gallery spaces and public settings. We were lucky enough to get a word with the ladies on the day that they were dismantling this magnificent sculpture. Reporter Keith Widdop asked why earrings.
All women who wear earrings have the experience of losing one and not knowing what to do with the other. For most women that's a loss because they love that pair of earrings for whatever reason, not necessarily because it's of huge value monetarily. So they just want to find somewhere to put it that's really great, and that's why really. It's very common, isn't it?
It is, yeah, everyone's mentioned it.
It started to be really difficult to count because some of them are like pinheads. But we know they're over 3,000 and probably somewhere like 3,500. People also send us other stuff though, because people never like to follow rules, which is a very good thing. But that meant they also sent us bracelets, watches, brooches. And because we'd invited people to contribute, we couldn't say no to people or throw them away or send them back. So we've also included those things. So if you look at it closely, you'll see that there's the odd watch or the odd brooch around as well.
Until you've got all of your, if you like, the subject matter in, which is all of the earrings, we didn't quite know how to, it's like painting with earrings. We thought, how are we going to put these together so it hangs together and reads as one piece, and yet when you get up close it's really interesting, exciting in the detail. And as you stand away from it, it also works. And that was quite a process. That took us quite a few months to work out exactly how we wanted to get the look. And in the end, we found that. But it was through trial and experimentation and taking lots of earrings off and putting them back on again. Well, we're going to take it down very carefully.
Yeah, we might not pull it down. Or if we get fed up, we might pull it down, but that'd be terrible. Yeah. We designed it, we did it in such a way that we wouldn't have to take all the individual earrings off, because it took us months and months and months to make it. So we had to do it in parts that we can take off in parts. And we've got loads and loads of photographs of where everything is, because it works because of how we designed it, so we have to have it back in exactly the same way.
A new school opened in Burnley during the year. To be exact, the Burnley University Technical College, or UTC. It is a new initiative designed to address the lack of opportunities for young people to study engineering and construction.
And one thing the employers have been saying for the last 5 or 6 years is quite simple, that education is not delivering the skills that we need in industry. Not that they're not just delivering the educational needs, but it's that industry link and the skill that they need. And I just said one day, well, let's stop complaining about it and what we're going to do about it. And hence, we came up with the concept of having a pre-apprenticeship academy, which really was about how do you bridge that gap between the world of education and the world of employment. And at the time, the University Technical College was being conceived. So we looked at the model, and it sort of fit what we wanted to do. Not fully, but in a way that we could have moulded it. So we started on the journey of saying, well, how do we actually bridge the gap between education and employment? And how do we actually create a unique learning experience that is different from what's out there at the moment in the educational world? With the theme of how do you bridge education and employment. So it's a workplace, it's like work, it does things like you go to work, you clock in, you clock out. That was the concept. It runs work-related processes, disciplinary processes if you needed to do that. It's all about the world of work, but with the unique bit that the product is education.
The big differences we have are we have longer working days, so we start at 8:30 and we finish at 4:45. But you know, the learners don't really find that very difficult. They soon became adapted to that, and we don't find that a challenge. We do project work, with companies. So National Grid have been in with us this week, and they're in for this the next few weeks, and they do real life projects.
So we're unique here by saying that if you start at 14, there's not many areas or places you can go that can guarantee you a job if you work hard and you achieve and you succeed. And we can do here because Training 2000 offers the apprenticeship programmes. We've got 2 great universities linked in with us, Liverpool John Moores and UCLan. So if people want to do higher education and do degrees, we've got the exit and entry routes into those programmes. And if they want to continue on A-levels, the UTC can provide that continuation and then into whatever career pathway. So really it's a one-stop shop.
We now have a news update. Our reporter Frank Swift.
Higham Scarecrow Festival has always been a great success. Recently we caught up with the man at the helm, Terry Butterfield.
On the 1st of October, Burnley filmmakers were visited by Highams' Terry Butterfield, who came to talk about the Higham Scarecrow Festival. Terry started the evening with a demonstration on how to build a basic scarecrow.
You can just get a piece of 3x2 and just nail or screw a piece on there and a piece on here and then the legs down. Quite simply. They don't have to be level with each other like this one here really. It's just a simple job to do really. It's very simple. Now you get some wire netting like this and just cut a piece off and roll it up, and I tend to use cable ties just to hold it together. You can use bits of, I'll cut some wire off somewhere, here we are. You can use wire and just put that through and then bind it through and tie it on. And then it's the same for a sit down one. You can put that as a leg, you can slot that on there as a leg. On this one here it can be an arm, so we'll just pop that on there.
Burnley filmmakers and guests watched attentively to Terry's demonstration as he built up the scarecrow. Our filming crews had planned lighting, sound and camera positions the previous week, and so were able to quickly proceed to a formal interview by our very own Judith Hindle.
What first gave you the idea for this?
Well, I'd seen the scarecrows before at many other places, and they're always good fun and good for a laugh, and I think it was the start of the recession that 7 years ago now, and I thought perhaps the village needed a bit of a boost, a bit of a good time. It wasn't done for money at the time, it was just done just for a good laugh, a good time.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. And what made you choose scarecrows? Was there anything particular that made you choose scarecrows?
Well, I just think they're funny to look at. They're all individual, so they make you laugh, make you smile,
yes.
Which is good.
I believe the festival's held in August each year. Is there any reason why you chose August?
No, not really. I mean, it's normally a warm month, which is good for people to walk around. No, I mean, we have other events in the village, and it would have clashed if we hadn't had it in August.
It had been an interesting evening, both informative and an opportunity for the crews to improve their skills.
Well, that's all for this year. We do hope you've enjoyed the last hour or so.
Remember, if there is anything you think may be of interest for our next year's newsreel, please let us know.
Yes, we do send a copy to the North West Film Archives, so it will be documented forever. So it's good night from me.
And good night from me.
Good night.
Good night.